Hello. So in this video we're going to be looking at the group 7 elements. So please make sure your phone is off, you are not watching TV or distracting yourself by playing games, and you have a pen or your booklet to take notes. At times you may see this yellow banner appearing. At that time I would like you to pause the video and complete the task. When you are ready, we will begin. So the group 7 elements. They're found in the 7th column of the periodic table. So that's the ones going down. And they are group 7. First one in there is fluorine. Starts with an F if you're struggling to find them. They are all non-metals. They're found on the right-hand side of the periodic table to the right of that stepped line. They are non-metals. And we call them the halogens. And they are known as the halogens. And again, like all groups of elements, they react in similar ways to each other. Now as we go down the group, we notice that the melting point and boiling point increases. So fluorine, the one at the top, is a gas at room temperature, so is chlorine. As we go down, we start seeing that they become liquids and then solids. The reactivity decreases as we go down the group as well. This is opposite to group 1, where the reactivity increases going down the group. The colour of them also gets darker. Fluorine is incredibly pale. Chlorine is a light green gas, and as we go down we get darker and darker, all the way down to astatine, which is very dark indeed. So here we have them here. We've got fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. So fluorine is a gas, is very pale and is very reactive. Astatine, all the way down here, is a solid, is very dark and is less reactive. As we come down, we notice that going down, the colour gets darker. So the colour gets darker and the reactivity decreases. And the melting and boiling point increases. These are some of the things we need to know about the group 7 elements. The colour gets darker, the reactivity decreases, and the melting and boiling point increases. And we can react the halogens with iron to see their reactivities. Just like we've reacted the group 1 elements with water, we're going to react the group 7 elements with iron. So if we look first at fluorine. So fluorine is the most reactive, it's at the top of the group, and we mix it with iron wool, we get quite a very obvious reaction. It's very bright, a lot of smoke being produced. We next look at chlorine, so going down the group. Again, we get a reaction happening, we do get it glowing, we get smoke produced, but it's not as bright as the fluorine. Next up, we're going to look at bromine, so again going down the group. Here we're having to heat it quite a bit and we're not really seeing any reaction happening. There is some smoke being produced, there's this sort of dark solid being produced, but nowhere near as much as these two. Now we can write equations for these. So our generic equation is our iron, which is our metal element there, plus our halogen, our group 7, will make an iron halide. Notice at the end we've changed the ene to the De. So INE goes to IDE. So for fluorine, it's iron plus fluorine will make iron fluoride. I'd like now you to have a go at pausing the video and write down the reaction between iron and chlorine and iron and bromine. We'll now check your answers. So you should have got iron plus chlorine makes iron chloride, and iron plus bromine makes iron bromide. Well done if you got those correct, and remembered to change the suffix at the end from "ine" to "ide". We're now going to have a look at displacement reactions. So a displacement is the action of moving something from its place in position. So elements higher up group 7 will displace elements lower in the group from their compound. And by this is if we take chlorine and potassium bromide. My potassium bromide here is my compound, and I react it with chlorine. Because chlorine is higher up in the periodic table, or higher up in the group than bromine is, it will displace the bromine. So the chlorine will knock the bromine away from the potassium, and we will then get potassium chloride plus bromine. Noticing how we've gone from the "ine" on chlorine to an "ide", and the "ide" from bromide to an "ine". So our chlorine has displaced bromine. The reason it has displaced it is because it is more reactive. So there are two on here for you. You might need your periodic table. I want you to pause the video and work out whether these displacement reactions will happen and what will be the result. You should now be ready to go through your answers. So we see that for this first one, fluorine plus potassium iodide, iodide has been displaced by the fluorine, so we get iodine plus potassium fluoride, again changing those N's. This has been displaced. The reason why it's been displaced is the fluorine is more reactive. It is higher up group 7. For our next one, bromine plus potassium fluoride, we still get bromine plus potassium fluoride. So we are not being displaced. The reason why it's not displaced is because the bromine is less reactive. Well done if you worked that out. If not, have a look at your periodic table again and remember that the higher up an element is, it means it will displace something that is lower than it. You now have some questions to go through. Please pause the video and answer the questions. When you are ready, you can unpause and go through the answers. You should only be watching now if you have answered these questions. You can now mark your answers. Well done if you got them all correct. Please now pause the video and answer these questions. You should now only be watching if you have answered these questions. You can mark your answers. Well done if you got them all correct. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you do have any questions, please do contact me. Have a great day and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Bye bye.